We will have his expert iris coming up later in the show, but we want to talk about this beautiful hydrangea first. So hydrangeas you often think of as that Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Hamptons, you know, all of that type of a look. And I love that cottage look. These are absolutely beautiful in front of your home or along a white picket fence. But usually hydrangeas are lighter in color. They might be blue or like
my
purple,
shirt, right?
Yes,
that
like
sort of
more
blue,
pastel.
Yes, a softer sort of color. But this, as the name suggests, is an explosion of vibrant, rich cherry color.
Love it.
It is. I love it when plant names tell you something about the plant. Like I love it when they give you a cue as to what you can expect. And the level of saturation, the color on this thing is a real standout. It's going to make it an instant sort of floral centerpiece if you choose to put this in a container or if you choose to put it in the ground.
So this is a lace, what we call a lace cap variety.
Right.
Some are mop head, some have more of a conical shape, but this is a lace cap. What does that mean?
Well, so the lace cap means that the flowers occur almost in like an orbit around the center. And the images that we have really do a great job of conveying this. Of course, we're just representing here what this cherry explosion hydrangea is going to look like really in the second, probably the third season even. But see all those flowers kind of orbiting the center of that, you know, internal cluster of those other smaller pink flowers.
It almost looks like a Queen Anne's lace in the middle.
Yeah, exactly. It has this sort of almost this two-dimensional kind of quality to it. And those flowers just kind of hover around the edges like that. And look how good that looks in a container, full of color, vibrant. And I just, when you say Nantucket and Cape Cod, I mean, I love spending you know, a week in the summer there and really getting to enjoy not only that climate, which is pretty perfect.
Yeah, I know, in the summer, isn't it? And hydrangeas love it. So going back to that statement, so now if I live someplace where it's really hot all the time, do these need a frost?
Well, you know, they do. They do like a cold period. But you know, the South is a classic place to grow hydrangeas as well. There's hydrangea societies in the South even because hydrangea macrophyllars are so classic.
My parents, where they live in North Carolina, it definitely gets into the 30s.
I mean, absolutely,
it's cold enough.
Yeah, absolutely.
So these are 3 payments of $626. And we talked about all the plants before the show, and Kelly was emphasizing that these are more of a compact size hydrangea, so they'll do great in the soil, but they're also really good for pots. Some hydrangeas get kind of too big for a pot.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, I personally, in the climate that I garden in Zone 5B in Des Moines, Iowa, I love the instant gratification that a hydrangea in a container can offer because frankly, you know, first of all, this is what you're going to get.
Big.
So imagine, a big, healthy, handsome looking plant. Look at this big leaves, big leaf hydrangea, you know, is the common name for these varieties. And so, you know, you put this in a pot and you juice it up with that fertilizer that we recommend, which is our acid-loving plants.
Acid-loving, that's a different
booster,
one.
Right? So, and all of them are different colors, right? So if you have bought several different fertilizers from Cottage Farms before, you can keep them mixed up in different containers, and we'll have different colors. So I think this one is a blue one,
and
actually.
The quantity we have of the acid-loving fertilizer is pretty limited right now. So if you want to get it,
it's a good add-on.
Grab that one along with your bud and bloom booster. Just a couple hundred to go around, and that is 3 payments of $10. So again, with these, you'll get a different type of looking hydrangea, even if you already have. Maybe you bought my garden party hydrangeas that Cottage Farms has done occasionally. Maybe you've got some of the great big, those white ones are called, I just forgot.
Well, we've got Phantom, we've got Vanilla Strawberry, we've got Limelight, we've got all sorts of hydrangeas.
So these are different than any of those. They're a different shape, they're more compact, and certainly a vivid cherry color that is unexpected.
It is unexpected, and you know, this is also going to start the hydrangea season. I mean, the varieties we just mentioned that have the more conical panicles that we call them tend to be later summer flowers, which is great, which is important. We want hydrangeas, you know, throughout the gardening season, of course, but the great thing about cherry explosion is that you get that explosion of wonderful, delicious, good enough to eat color early in the summer.
So you are getting one of these for 3 payments of $626. I always like to buy them in pairs at least.
Yeah, just to match them up.
And these would look great in, like, what size pot is this?
Well, this is about a 5-gallon size pot. I mean, ultimately, we're talking about something that's maybe, you know, 1.5 feet across. And again, this is what year 2, or depending on your growing season, but probably year 3 is going to likely look like.
But if you want to start out planting it in a big pot like this,
you could do 3 in one pot
like
this.
Or you could put one and then surround it with other things until it gets this big.
Absolutely.
But these would look beautiful on your porch or the corners of your deck, or, you know, again, with these hydrangeas, they are winter hardy.
Yes.
So you don't have to worry about dragging that pot into the house.
Right. I mean, you pull it up against to the house, next to the house or something like that if you're going to use it in a container like that. But just look again at this distinctive, novel, unique color that we have. Those flowers in that lace cap fashion kind of orbiting the sort of center of those smaller, frothier pink flowers, really showing there how good this looks in a container. And again, the reason I love talking about big leaf hydrangeas like Cherry Explosion in containers is because they are heavy feeders. You juice them up with that acid-loving fertilizer we just talked about a minute ago, and you can really start to see flowers in the first growing season. And by year 2 and 3, you've just got an instant sort of floral piece to move around the outdoor room or the barbecue area to enjoy throughout the summer.
And they like, I've got most of my hydrangeas planted in the morning sun or partial sun.
That's a perfect place for them.
But the thing is, if you have a really hot day and they look a little wilty, all they want is a drink of water.
That's right.
And they
go
right back.
Hydrangea,
yeah,
right? It's a little cue that they like to have consistent moisture, so that's a good point.
And you'll get beautiful blooms year after year. So stay in the ordering process for these.
Absolutely.
You get each one for $18.78 or payments of just $6.26. You will want to add the acid-loving fertilizer for your hydrangeas. That's the type that they do the best with. And again, use these in a pot or in the ground. That gorgeous cherry color. Now, still to come, we have daylilies called Romantic Returns, and these are a gorgeous bright pink color that you will absolutely